I played the original Spyro the Dragon on PlayStation over 15 years ago. I remember having frustrations here and there and still enjoying the game overall. I didn't play any of the sequels and I plan to change that with the remasters, so I recently got started with Reignited Trilogy, which sat on my backlog for years. This marks the first time I regret buying the Switch version of a game. That should tell you how bad it is. Anyway, the game itself tries its best to be a very faithful recreation of the original. Like it's the exact same game with better graphics and animation. If that was their only goal, it mostly succeeds. The story isn't meant to be taken seriously, but the humor is incredibly, for lack of better words,
Besides, he is ugly. Ugly?
Cringe. Obviously, you don't go into a game featuring a cute purple talking dragon expecting a mature script. Though we've seen cute looking games aimed for older audiences many times. The thing about this iteration of Spyro in particular is that it has this tone that seems to be targeting kids who watch Paw Patrol or something. You have other kid-friendly franchises like Mario and Kirby out there, but Kirby gets dark or weird very often and Mario goes very minimal with dialogue, specifically to keep older players from getting uncomfortable. At its core, it's a collectathon platformer, but it's a good kind that doesn't ask you to pick up 5 different currencies. To unlock more hub worlds, all you ask is to rescue a minimum amount of dragons, which is really easy to do. All the gems and eggs you collect unlock different things, which are not required to beat the game. Each hub world has around 4 levels to explore, plus a special flight challenge level, and every level is very compact without feeling too small. Well, I guess they will feel small depending on what kind of player you are. I think the size and layout of levels are what makes this game way less draining than the average collectathon. They're designed in such a way that usually by the time you reach the exit, you have most of the collectibles picked up, so you're not getting lost while you're clearing the minimal amount of things. If you're waiting for the 120% completion, then that's another story. Many levels will hide the last batch of collectibles in secret areas or more tricky platforming that's less intuitive to find. These will test your ability to really explore these small levels and your ability to charge and glide. With this possibility, you might spend some time in a level trying to get that last 50 or so gems sounds bad, then this game is not for you. Exploring compact levels to collect things is the entire point of Spyro the Dragon. The platforming and gliding for some of those hidden collectibles can get really annoying though, and I don't like how enemies seem to hit you in like 2 frames of animation. It makes it really hard to judge the reaction time. The gliding, by the way, is my biggest frustration in this whole game. Every time there are platforms that require gliding to reach, the designers really like making the gap exactly far enough that you almost fall off. That way, if your gliding is less than perfect, you're not gonna make it. I hate that so much. When you try out the controls for the first time, gliding shows this potential to make playing as a dragon feel great, but the game never makes good use of that potential. Even Spyro's Fire Breath has a pathetic range compared to how far enemies can hit you and comes with an annoying delay. The calculated distances between the platforms you have to glide make the ability feel simply weak. I'm gonna have to piss off some Spyro fans and make comparisons with Mario here. One of the main reasons even a game as old as Mario 64 feels just better to me is due to the level design compared to Mario's moveset. Take the wall jump for example. There are very few stars that require mastering wall jump, but because of how levels are designed, mastering all of Mario's acrobatic skills gives you a lot of leeway in how to go from one spot to another in his levels. That makes you feel powerful for making use of all the character can do. In Spyro, I don't feel that way at all. It's like they took a dragon character and made the platforming enemies work against it. It's little details like that. I don't care if you're part of the Mario is overrated squad or you grew up in the Sega household of the 90s or whatever. Mario platformers only do so well critically because they try their best to make controlling Mario feel good and that the game stay polished. Well, except Mario Sunshine. That game doesn't deserve its Metacritic score. I found the graphics pleasant to look at and it's still about as colorful as the original. The best improvement was the enemy and character models. Spyro and the other dragons look great. They changed the dragons a lot more than anyone expected, so I guess there may be fans who prefer the original designs. Personally, I like the new ones more. Each dragon looks very unique while staying consistent with the game's style. Though it's a little bizarre how they're all very anthropomorphic while Spyro looks like a regular 4-legged dragon. A lot of care was put into giving every dragon you rescue a unique personality, except the older dragons. The old dragons all run with the same joke. It's like, haha, old people are so forgetful and love telling long, boring stories. Spyro fucking hates old people. They rearranged the original tracks and made them dynamic. I don't think the dynamic tracks add much, and the originals still sound better. There are some good tracks, but man, Spyro the Dragon music is weird. Very few of them fit the atmosphere of levels. They all have this ethereal feel to them, and I can't say that doesn't give the game a unique musical identity at least. This is a serviceable platformer with charming aesthetic, levels that don't restrict the welcoming scope, and mostly very manageable collectible hunt. I would still recommend despite my complaints about control, gliding, and enemies. It's a chill game for not aiming for completion. Do keep in mind I only played the choppy Switch port, which might have dropped some of my input.